It's time for It's All Been Trekked Before. No, we're not back. We're still on hiatus until October 12th. We have a very special episode for you today about the new Star Trek series Discovery. We will not be covering it weekly because we are still on the original series, but Stephen and I had a chance to sit down and talk about it. Before you hear us talk about it, though, please check out our parent network, IABDpresents.com, for lots of great content. Our newest show premiering this week is Marianne's Macabre Movie Review, which covers horror films, and it's going to be every other week, where Marianne sits with friends and they talk about, the American remakes versus the originals. They talk about different parts of the genre, what they like, what they don't like, all of that good stuff. So check that out. Please also go to the Columbus Dispatch's CBUS Top Picks and vote for It's All Been Done Presents for Best Local Entertainment, if you're in the Columbus area anyway. You can vote every day from October 1st through October 22nd. Our network is one of the 5 finalists, so please vote for us. You can follow us on social media at IABD Presents. And you can also support us at patreon.com/IABD. And now enjoy this special episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Welcome out to a very special episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. There are 2 hosts here tonight.
This is Stephen.
And Jimmy-Jerome. And we are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery. Before you get too excited, we're not going to cover it week to week now. We will in about 15 years.
Yep. So mark your calendars.
But we may check in on occasionally, and since this week the first 2 hours premiered and we had a chance to watch both of them, and this is a Star Trek podcast, we thought it would behoove us to go ahead and do at least a short
talk about it.
To talk about what our first impressions are.
Yeah, the first opening part with the captain and first officer on the planet, right away it's like, wow, this is, especially we've been going, obviously, you've been following along, we've been doing the original series.
Yeah.
Just night and day, just
the effects.
Amazing, and to belabor the obvious, it's 2 women in charge, which is...
Neither one white.
Right, which is really, really cool, and you can call us SJWs all you want, but it's cool.
So I really don't understand the backlash against there not being
enough
white men.
I
mean, Jason Isaacs is the only straight white male main lead, maybe? Doug Jones, but he's an alien.
Yeah.
There
are plenty of...
But if you're complaining about not enough... I mean, did you miss the entire point of what Star Trek is?
Right, and...
Because it's all about diversity.
We don't know what Klingons are. We just know there's males and females.
Sure. And there's an albino, apparently, sort of.
Yeah, which I thought that was an interesting angle.
That's
why we really get ahead of ourselves.
Not only interesting, but what really baffles me is we've already aired 2 episodes. Vok's on a character poster. Vok is clearly a but they have not yet revealed who's playing Vok.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how deep they were going to get into the Klingon side of it.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting you've got Klingons as main characters.
To, develop the culture.
Yeah, and I know obviously lots of people who have spent time learning to speak Klingon are very excited. But
they did not feel like the Klingons we know and love.
No.
Especially in our original series. But this is 10 years before the original series, and if this is their journey to become what we know... Which could be.
Okay, sure.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I could see that. Otherwise, they seem a lot like, actually, the creatures from Galaxy Quest to me.
Yeah.
Is what I kept thinking of. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Sure.
Because I thought those looked like good aliens, too. But, it was interesting. And just setting up, giving you more of the Klingon culture.
Well, they're clearly a fragmented culture at this point.
Yes.
And so that's why I think it's okay that this will build to what we know.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's very interesting. They already are evoking Kalis' name, who is a figure a lot in the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, the legendary warrior. There are main characters in this show that are Klingons.
Yeah.
And then they killed the lead Klingon.
Yeah.
Like they killed the lead Starfleet officer.
Right. Yeah.
And blew up the lead Starfleet ship.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a 2-hour premiere.
Yeah, and, when a lot of the movies, when they just kept blowing up the Enterprise, or however many times they blew it up, 2 or 3 times, it's just like, you can't blow up my Enterprise this many times and expect me to get upset again. But
what's the new one? The new ones, they blow it up every
movie. Every time. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it was lit and felt like your typical CBS crime procedural. and I thought, this is going to be a CBS crime procedural set in space. But then
Nah,
from
not
there,
at all. Not at all.
it took off, and it really felt really Star Trek. I mean, just the way we were looking at the Klingons and the conversations they were having. I didn't feel like there was a ton of overacting or anything like that. I thought it was very, your character, is it Burnham? What's the name?
Michael Burnham.
Michael Burnham is
Played by Sneeko Martin Green, is the lead.
Raised by Sarek and Amanda, so...
Which is the one problem I have with it.
Well, there's an issue there.
Like, she would have been raised right alongside Spock.
Right, and that's the problem.
No mention. The only thing I can think of is, given the events of the first 2 episodes, and how far she falls. Like, be stripped of her rank,
maybe
locked up.
They don't talk about her.
Like, even if she ends up being a hero, if it never becomes public knowledge she was a hero, then I could see Spock and Sarek not talking about it.
That's possible.
If there's some reason that's classified or they're deeply ashamed.
Well, and she goes through this arc of, she starts out, like I was saying, like a very Spock-like character.
Yeah.
And then, over the 2 hours of these first two episodes, her character arc is amazing and surprising, and
I think it was a 7-year character arc. I think she was.
I guess
I think she was holding it
right.
together.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the 2 hours, but I think she'd already gone on a lot of that journey.
Yeah.
And I'm
I guess you're right.
really hoping that even though they killed off Michelle Yeoh, that she returns for flashbacks the way they did flashbacks to her childhood.
And I thought the way they did those to the flashbacks were really well done in this. I mean, to just reveal little moments and all those things.
James Frain as Sarek?
Yeah.
Approve? Disapprove?
I thought he was fine. Yeah.
I like James Frain, but
yeah. No, I thought it was cool. And I imagine we're going to see a lot more of them because they talk about their connection, how tight it is,
sure.
and the one communication they have. The effects look great, and
oh god, film quality.
Yeah, it looks,
CBS sunk some money.
They did, and I read in one article talking about there's that thing of if you do too many... Actually, I think you said this. If they do too many battles, they look great.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're just watching Star Wars.
Right.
But I thought they struck the right balance. Like I said, there's a lot of... I shouldn't say high-minded talking, but there's a lot of conversations about important things.
It's slow-paced.
Yeah.
There's a lot of morality stuff.
Yes.
My biggest problem with the new films is they make space seem too big. Yeah. Star Trek spaces always seem small. Mm-hmm. Even in Kirk's time, when they're exploring the edges of the
trying to
frontier,
find more things.
You relate to who you encounter, you recognize. And I thought Discovery, despite sticking Michael out there in the middle of the binary thing, was a big scene, but it still felt small based on the way they interacted and played it.
Right.
So this kind of has the best of both worlds. It takes the better effects, better makeup from the new films, but keeps what makes Star Trek Star Trek.
Yeah, and I was a little worried after they started killing off main characters all of a sudden that they were... Because they
weren't main characters.
There were people were people I was already getting attached to.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the second hour, they did a little preview of the whole season, or at least next several episodes, and that all looked... I mean, I was still intrigued after that.
Rainn Wilson as
Harry Mudd, and then you meet her new captain, and parts of her journey. It's just... it's.
I can't wait for Anthony Rapp.
It feels like a fuller world than we've had before.
Well, it's not just set on one ship.
Yeah,
exactly. There's multiple pieces.
Yeah, and I think that's
serial storytelling, which is what Deep Space Nine did. The best of Trek.
Yeah.
Real serious character development immediately. The music was interesting.
Yeah.
The theme song was interesting. I'm still not sure I love it.
It ends weird to me.
It ends with the beginning fanfare.
It does, and then it goes into da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And we're not really journeying through space.
Right. It's not the 5 years.
Which is, but even if you don't do the opening monologue from TOS and TNG, DS9 Voyager, they're still going through space.
Right.
It actually reminded me a bit of Enterprise's theme song, because that was very different.
Yeah.
But there's no lyrics, thank God.
No. There.
There doesn't need to be.
But yeah, and I thought we had. I mean, there's not, like we said, but there's Klingons that are main characters. So there's one of the things we decried a lot on the original series is just not enough of the supporting characters. And there's obviously a lot here. There's a lot of guest stars coming up. And I don't think Rainn Wilson. He doesn't feel like a stunt guest.
No.
He's gonna. and he's a different Harry Mudd than what we had. At least
this is before.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We talked about
that's
that.
everything that I'm like, maybe this is a plot hole because it doesn't feel lining up. I'm like, we got 10 years to get.
This is true.
And a lot can happen in 10 years.
This is true.
So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt as long as they do right by us in the end. There were a few continuity things. Wearing the Delta emblem on the Shenzhou, I was like, no.
And there's always that thing when you're doing a prequel 50 years later in any medium of, okay, you got to take your mind and just wrap it around it and then just set it aside because it's just not going to look like perfectly obviously.
So I think they're smart the way they're doing it because first of all, the Shenzhou, they established it's an old vessel and so they modeled it similar to the Enterprise design, which was much earlier, and the uniforms as well. And so I was like, okay, that helps keep them away from the original. And then it seems like the Discovery is going to be a really unique vessel.
Okay.
Like, it is something that, at least from the preview I saw, that there's stuff going on that doesn't happen on a normal starship. And it's kind of a very specially made vessel for a special purpose. So they don't have to follow what the Constitution class was.
Okay.
And so that's where I think they're getting around.
Okay.
Now, trying to get around all those primary colors, that I think is a no-win scenario.
Yeah,
that's a Kobayashi Maru right there.
That is. So I hope Star Trek fans, whatever, I guess I'm discriminating now. I think anybody who's dug any of the Star Trek should check it out. At least, like I said, the first 2 episodes and the preview after that look really exciting. So, I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Other than some small continuity things, and like I said, most of it I think they can explain away eventually. The only thing that ticks me off is CBS putting it on All Access, charging a buttload of money for one network's backlog and 2 original shows. Yeah. That's bull.
And I'm sure that's going to keep a lot of people away.
It is. I mean, I'm pretty sure they already ordered a 2nd season.
Oh, okay.
Or at least they're doing a split season, I think, too. They're only doing 7 or 8 episodes now, and then like in January, February, they'll bring it back.
And maybe they're waiting for us to talk people up, so they'll decide they have to binge watch it. But
what I think you should do is get a group of friends together. One of you buy an account and share it.
There you go.
Because CBS doesn't deserve it. And CBS doesn't... This is the thing. Like, I try to keep in touch with the television industry as a professional critic.
Sure.
Nobody believes All Access is a serious business. They're only using it as leverage to try to get higher transmission fees from cable companies and satellite. And by doing a Good Wife spinoff, because Good Wife has its fans, and then putting the new Star Trek on there, they're trying to tap into already existing fan bases and get enough, just a few million of us to sign up to say, look, these 3 million people, I think they had 3 million last time I saw, are willing to pay $6 a pop for our programming. The cable company they should pay us $6 a pop. Yeah. Which cable companies get, but CBS is free over the airwaves, so cable companies have always tried not to pay them very much. That's business side of things. That's not interesting to you guys, I'm sure. But it's the kind of stuff that really ticks me off. It's the height of corporate greed. It's the height of what's wrong with the industry.
Well, and if there's a rabid audience to tap into, obviously Star Trek's one of them.
I mean, I'd be happy to wait for the Blu-ray because that'd be cheaper than paying for months of CBS. And yet at the same time, like, this show's so good that I can't.
Don't want to wait.
I can't. I have to watch it as it goes.
What they're banking on.
Right.
So,
but I'm going to share my password with as many people as I can because I want people to watch it and I don't want people to pay CBS.
Well, there you go.
It's crappy.
Yeah.
It's real shady.
Yeah.
Especially how they aired that first hour of the pilot and you know where they ended it. With the captain coming out of the room with the phaser. That was the worst place to end it.
Yeah, I mean, great as a regular cliffhanger.
Sure.
That is sticking it to people.
I was not planning to go to All Access that night, watch the 2nd hour, and I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I wish they'd done this with NCIS instead, but what can we do?
Yeah, then we would not have to pay for it.
Although now you can get all that NCIS for $6. So.
Yeah, don't want to miss an episode of that.
Or you can just keep watching the USA Network or wherever they show the reruns on.
Yeah, the thing that worries me, though, is by putting it all access, I worry it's going to limit the number of seasons this is going to get. Where I feel like this show could go for years and be really successful.
And that's a lot of the comments I saw. And, obviously, anytime you go into the comment section on the internet, you're just asking for negativity.
Sure.
So a lot of the comments were, and this goes for the Orville, too, really, while we're at it. well, it looks great. It must be too much money. Fox, CBS is going to kill this before it can really develop. And I just feel like
They're clearly spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah. And, to be fair, Seth MacFarlane and Star Trek are both pretty good franchises. And MacFarlane especially with I feel like CBS, with the ownership they have with it, they're going to stick with it for a little longer. And
I think they will, too.
And Fox owes Seth MacFarlane, so...
What I'm hoping is they go ahead and give it a second season if they haven't already, and I don't remember for sure. And then see how the DVD Blu-ray sales go for season 1.
Yeah.
And if they can get enough on that they know the money's coming on the back end, I think they'll keep making it because, and Star Trek DVDs have always sold well. Star Trek was one of the very first television shows put out on DVD.
Yep.
I bought the 40 volumes of the original series before they did seasons. So, I think, and they used to have all the episodes on VHS.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of shows did.
It was one of the first for that, too.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it advertised.
So I'm hoping the home sales will keep it going.
Yeah.
They will if they're, I think CBS will give it some leash. This is an important franchise.
I think so, too. I just don't, it's not the Chevy Chase show. You can't do this build-up and then air 4 episodes.
No, I think they're committed to doing the full season.
Yeah. And
they're not going to yank it mid-season.
And I feel like more people are going to react like you and I that, God, I got to see this next one. I want to stick with this rather than not digging it.
So, and Brian Fuller, who developed the show before he left, now it's like in the hands of Alex Kurtzman, who helped JJ write the new movies.
Oh,
he's a big Star Trek fan, and Nicholas Meyer, who did some of the old films.
Yes. Yeah.
Brian Fuller wrote for Voyager and stuff, but
he,
I think we see his aesthetic in it. I think the beauty of what it looks like, because Brian Fuller's stuff is always just beautiful. Hannibal, one of the most beautiful shows ever on television. He did Pushing Daisies. He did, and so I feel like that is what's held over from his beginning on it, just the look of everything. But he wanted to do a brand new story with a new cast every year, and the current showrunners saying, "No, we like these characters. We want to keep going with them." So I think that's probably the better decision.
Yeah,
I want to see more than one season with these characters.
Yeah, I mean, so far I
already want to watch
fascinated.
7 seasons of these characters.
Yeah.
With Michelle Yeoh as much as possible. I'm
yes.
sorry.
Me too.
She's got to be in it more.
I know.
I think she will. I really do. I don't think they would have lured her for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, because it seemed like their relationship was really tight and
important for her growth arc, which is going to play into the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think we will see more.
Yeah. Without reservation, I recommend Discovery, other than CBS sucks.
As do I, yes. I mean, if you like Star Trek...
This is the best of Star Trek. This is the fulfillment of what Star Trek should be.
Yeah.
Because they're taking their time with it. We lament when we talk about these original series episodes of, if only they
had to rush,
followed that back up.
Money. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And, Deep Space Nine, now that people are binging... I think more and more people are pushing Deep Space Nine because it did the serial story. And that's we want. We want complexity.
Mm-hmm.
We want, but I also don't think this is going to skimp at all on the social commentary and the mirror they hold up to society.
And I think obviously it started with literally a bang, the war with the Klingons or whatever. But I don't know if that's going to be the constant. It's going to be a backdrop.
I think the whole first season is the march to war.
Yeah.
Michael Burnham reminds me a lot of Sisko because they just did a scene of the DS9 pilot where he was at Wolf 359 and lost his family, and she went through this major tragedy, lost her family. Sisko's my favorite captain. I feel like she's going to immediately be one of my favorite leads.
I thought the scene where she goes in the spacesuit to go check out the what turns out to be a Klingon ship, right? It was Klingon ship.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Klingon, it was something they were using to call the houses together.
Yeah. I thought...
Like a beacon.
I thought that scene was tremendous on just every level. Special effects and just tapping back into that. Because I think almost in a lot of... Some of the Star Trek, and I was thinking that when we were watching one of the original series, they seem really comfortable in space, which they should be on some level. But, her going out in that single spacesuit, and as she approached this giant object and her speed picked up and she's in an asteroid belt, you felt more of her fear, and it was more of that space is scary.
Yeah.
And all she had was that thin layer of thick glass. But I thought that scene alone was like I was so into, and I knew it was going to be some kind of Klingon thing. Obviously, it was going to be some kind of bad thing. You always know it's going to be, but I was. That
would have been Spock. That absolutely. Would have been
absolutely,
Spock.
of course, yeah. And I mean, it was similar to motion picture when he goes in the future, except I guess the first time I saw that, I had the same like I don't know where he's going, but it wasn't on TV. But
I thought the callbacks and things they were borrowing from other Trek were like the best of other Trek.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
So that's.
And I like they had a couple little sound effects on the bridge.
Yes. I didn't forget to listen for it, but I wonder if they're using Magellan's voice. I hope so.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
They certainly have enough catalog of her.
I would think so.
They can use her.
Yeah.
They gotta. At least sometimes.
I'm sure they'll. Working computer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was just really cool to have such a great 2-hour prologue.
Yeah. It's a great start.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how many episodes they have planned for the first season, but.
I want to say there's like 7 or 8 now and 7 or 8 in the winter. But
yeah, because I'm curious if it's going to be more of like an HBO kind of run or...
Yeah. It's not going to be 22 a season.
Okay. And because it feels like it's got more of that feel of a 12-hour movie or whatever kind of thing.
It somehow merges what was great about Trek with a modern show. It doesn't feel like a dated show. It feels like... Yeah. Like right now, there's so many high-quality shows in the air, and it could stand toe-to-toe with them. Yeah,
and I think it like you said, the nods to the original aren't like, and eventually maybe we'll see Spock and Kirk and some of the people in the distance.
I think we need to see Spock. I don't want to see Kirk. I don't think we should see Kirk. No, I just don't think it makes sense to see him.
Right. But and obviously Abrams in the first Star Trek, it was the origin story essentially.
Yeah.
So you got to do all those nods in there, but I felt like they didn't do a ton of that. Like I said, the little sounds on the bridge and that.
Yeah.
But more of the ethos, the spirit of Star Trek is there, and that's like you said, it is
more so than in the 2009 or Into Darkness.
Yeah, I think so.
This is better.
Much as I love the 2009, it was fun to have it back.
Beyond's awesome, but this is already better for me than those new movies.
Yeah,
this is what I want for my Trek.
Yeah.
As a Trek fan.
Yeah.
So I hope this show lives long and prospers.
Yes.
Anything else you want to toss in there? Should we rank the episodes?
These are the two best so far.
I think they're tied. Neck and neck. Who's your woman of Star Trek?
It's the
you can pick a lead this time.
Lead.
This time
it's Michael.
So Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Captain Georgina. Whatever.
Well,
I know she's older for me.
Yeah,
but she was pretty badass.
Michelle Yeoh's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think I'd go for Michelle Yeoh over Michael Burnham. Just me.
No, there's nothing wrong. I've been in love with her for a long time.
So. But yeah, either one.
Yeah.
They're both two awesome women to be front and center.
And one thing I'm curious about is if any of I guess none of the people on the Shenzhou, I don't know how many of those people we're going to see later.
It looks the only one that's a lead is Doug Jones's character.
Yeah. And he was the one
Besides
I most wanted to see.
Right.
And that was the other thing was some of the other folks on the bridge. It was like, okay, this looks like a CBS crime procedural, but
what they did with was it the helmsman that got injured, and then he went down to find the medical bay, and instead he found her in the jail cell.
Yeah.
And they got sucked into space.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was real interesting.
Yeah. That was creepy.
No, it was. I think if we see more flashback to her time under Michelle Yeoh with the Shenzhou, then they can use the full crew.
And again,
I think that might happen.
I think him getting sucked into space and the Klingons getting their dead was also... Those are both him getting sucked in is, again, that scariness of space. But the Klingons getting their dead was... I thought that was an interesting scene, too. Just effects-wise and otherwise.
Her escape from the jail cell was awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. I didn't know how that was going to work.
I know. I was like, are they going to open a Jeffries tube behind her or something?
Right. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Way more dangerous what they did.
Yeah. And I love the shot of her on the hull, the battered hull and everything.
Yeah.
That was probably some of the most realistic hull or ship damage.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to... Again, we didn't see the Enterprise destroyed, but... it was... And I guess I already cared about the characters, so I was already getting upset about what was happening. So
I got upset when he got sucked down to space.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
And when they abandoned the Shenzhou and it was blowing up, I was upset.
Yeah. At that point, all bets were off. Anybody's
now, some people are wondering because she didn't retrieve Michelle Yeoh's body, what that's about.
Huh?
Like, I don't think they can resurrect her. I don't think they can revive her. But do they study her? And is this where the Klingons learn how to make themselves appear human? Could she play a part in that?
Huh?
And her body play a part in that? That would be interesting.
Good question. Huh? These are the cool parts about seeing them for the first time.
I know. In general, I'm not a fan of prequels. I'd rather they go sequel.
Yeah.
But I think this was a right period of Star Trek history to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And given the way they're approaching it, even though I'm a little unsettled by some things because I'm just like, you gotta make it right at the end. You can take your time getting to where it needs to be.
Right.
But you've got to drive it to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
The Klingons can't beat these Klingons at the end of the series. They need to be the Klingons we know. Not necessarily in look, although that could play into some of it, but in attitude and in makeup and it's got to happen.
I think it's the journey, not a destination.
Right.
But we got to get to the destination.
Well, as long as the journey makes sense.
Right.
I'll give them a wide leash.
Yeah.
If they're going to make it this good.
Yeah.
Just don't will and grace us and rewrite history.
Usually I don't watch. If it's something I'm going to watch later, I don't watch previews.
Sure.
I
don't either.
I
did this time. I was so pumped.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like, I was almost going to click it off.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I'm going to keep watching. And I didn't feel like they gave everything away. I didn't feel like they told you all the beats for the rest of the season. They just...
Did you watch the After Trek?
I almost did, but I didn't.
Not worth it.
Okay. I'm glad I didn't.
Really not. I don't know if you watch any Talking Dead after Walking Dead.
No.
That's the standard of after shows. Yeah. That's what all other after shows will live up to.
Yeah.
And this was Talking Dead light. They borrowed a lot of the bits, but with much heavier special effects for some reason, which isn't necessary for a talk show.
All right.
They had most of the cast on, but most of them were in studio, so it was weird. They did spend some time with the spacesuit, like going behind the scenes, how they filmed it, which was cool.
All right.
But then it's also Chris Hardwick's buddy instead of Chris Hardwick hosting, Matt Myra. It was not a good enough after show to keep watching.
Yeah,
I won't watch another one.
I almost did get sucked in because I thought about it, and
not worth it.
At that point I'd already wasted 5 hours of my day on that and Trek and other things, and it was like I need to do something with my life for right now. But yeah, I almost did. I almost
skip it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Any final thoughts?
It's good to have all this Trek back.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's been too long.
It's good to be back in. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Hopefully they'll create another 15 years worth of podcasts for us.
Well, I mean, if Discovery does well and Orville does well, I mean, there's got to be another show coming along with it. So,
I hope they don't rush 2 Star Trek shows on the air at once.
No, I know.
One at a time's good.
It'd have to be something completely different. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think DJ Stein's my favorite, and I think it benefited from never being on the air by itself because they ignored it and it went off the rails.
It could do its thing,
but I don't think we need 2 at once.
Well,
we got oversaturated for a bit.
And again, I wonder if, obviously you and I are embracing this, and I feel like a lot of Star Trek fans will, so I hope it doesn't get into one of the... Actually, it will. We know it will. It's the age of, how soon will people turn on it? And again, obviously a lot of people already have who haven't even watched it for no good reason. People, and again, those terrible internet comments, I read a lot of things of people saying, well, it's going to be terrible, or I'm not going to watch it because, again, the CBS All Access thing's like, and but really they're saying the show's going to be terrible, and they're not going to watch it because they don't have to pay. It's like, well, one thing doesn't equal the other, and that kind of stuff. But the internet's there's going to be that element regardless.
If they want to do another Star Trek show in the near future, and I think networks will be hesitant to do this, but I think fans would love it. They need a late 24th century show. You pick and choose your characters from the 3 spinoffs that DS9, TNG, Voyager, and check in on where some of them are now and build a story that involves a number of them and make it wide-ranging like this. Don't set it on one ship and make it a hodgepodge. Set it like large scale. This is going on over here. This is going on over there. I would love to see something like that.
My thought was, you almost have to go...
And then you can pick and choose your cast members. And they can come in and out.
Yeah.
But there's so many of those actors that are good. They aren't particularly busy.
Yeah,
and
fair.
Those shows all have enough fans, and with all the reboots right now, I think we could see something in that. And you don't have to send on Deep Space Nine. You don't have to send on a familiar ship.
Right. Right.
Let's just pick a handful.
Yeah, my thinking was, I mean, that makes sense too. My thinking was you almost go to, you're plucking one little small element, and maybe I'm thinking more of a small film, but just like not to show Harry Mudd, but lots of these episodes were like, oh, I wonder what happened after that.
Yeah.
And maybe you go and look, and that's its own.
There's
little...
a lot of fan-made episodes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
So maybe there's and that would be more of a. I think that's one where you could do. Okay, we're going to do a season of this.
If this was an anthology show,
yeah,
Brian Fuller had imagined,
then I think that's where that would work.
But I think they could do a full 24th century series.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to keep the same characters every season.
Yeah.
Keep some.
Yeah.
Go on to others.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like Star Trek kind of wrote itself into a hole in a certain way that I don't want to go beyond the 24th century.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters' lives. With the time ships and stuff they introduced from later centuries, I think that would be really hard to do realistically and well at this juncture. And I don't necessarily need any more prequels. I like the era they picked, but I can't think of another era that needs it.
You don't want to see them go back to the eugenics wars?
No. Not as a series, no. No.
Nah.
A flashback in an episode to influence a story, sure. But no.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want that.
I think they should stick with the familiar. I mean, they've got about 150, 200 years of Star Trek history to play with.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't need to do more.
Yeah.
At least not right now.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Just my opinion. Okay, we've talked for quite a bit. This is almost a full episode.
Oh, wow. All right.
But check out Discovery.
Check it out. Yeah.
Screw CBS. I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm so mad at them for this. And have a good week. We'll be back October 12th with season 2 of the original series.
Yeah.
We've already recorded like a bunch of them, so yeah, get ready.